Dylan, where's Matt? Where's Matt? You got me on already? Matt's not here.
I think Matt's going to sit out this week.
Oh, come on.
Good morning,
Welcome
Chief.
back.
Good to see you again. Good to be back. The chair
it.
fits. The coffee mug fits. I mean,
Yep.
we're back in the saddle.
Back to normal. Back to normal again. Good.
Good morning.
Missed you, and my group of people that watch the program on a weekly basis, they all want to know where. Well, I told him he had to go get him a real job.
I had to work for a living.
and I'll attest for this. You're spending a lot of hours over there. I don't know if you're accomplishing much.
Well,
but,
we get some things done over at Happy Town, Corville, Toyota, just to let everybody know where I'm at.
I told them that, about 3 weeks ago when I went and visited with you. And
you visited with me, and before you could leave, I slipped the truck underneath you and sent you out the door.
Yeah, that's what Don Stimmons said. He said, you went and visited Andrew and he sold you a truck? I said, well, I needed one. Yeah, but he said he sold it to you.
Anybody wants to come visit, I'll slip one underneath them. I got no problem with that. It's like putting a sauce underneath a coffee mug.
40 years. You see the anniversary sign?
That's right.
40 years ago, I started the Bobby Dupre Show. And literally have missed very, very, very few, and none because of health problems. So the first thing I want to do is thank God for the health and all the friends that have given me encouragement to do this particular program, a talk show with just good news. We don't get into all the trashy things that go on in the world. We try to say something good, and if it's not good, we leave it alone. And it's been fun, and I want to thank everybody, and want to thank, I guess, the people who watch the program. I've got some people tell me that they listen to it on KSLO for 25 years, and they hardly ever missed a program. We switched over to TV and KSLO. They haven't missed a program on the TV now. And
now the internet, they watch it on the internet, they watch the streaming, the YouTube.
Yeah, it's
on their phones.
It's amazing. And all of this transpired, and we hardly perceived it, like my man would say. And that word is in the prayer that we're going to close the program with today, the word perceive. Now, isn't that something? I don't ever hear anybody using the word perceive, but Kelly brought me a gift for my birthday, and I'm going to use the prayer that the program is going to be showing tomorrow, Thursday the 28th. And
it's a daily year of prayers to have each day.
Each day. And your son, Jason Donna, had given me one, 3 years ago? Yeah, and I still have it right by my chair. So
that's Miss Vicky saying hello to. We got a good crowd here in the studio this morning. They're all visiting.
Got my little boy I never had, Noah, for Curry. Right. Kelly, my daughter, Kelly, she didn't want to, well, yeah, you got in the picture. I'll take it back. It was the two girls that work here didn't want to get in the picture. Joe Fred, long-time partner, but even before then, we knew each other. We grew up together, and I think I told him that. I don't think he believed it, but he saved my life trying to pass the swimming test at South City Park, and Miss Durio, you had to make 2 laps. And when I got near the first leg of the 2 lap, I was going under. And this kid with little goggles on came and gave me a hand to get to the other side. I don't know if I ever told you that, Joe. I think you did, but anyhow.
And Joe went to bat for me. The way I got to work with you was Joe going to bat for me, saying, I know this guy wants to come back home. He's a good kid. Give him a shot. And that's how I got to be with the office as well. So I owe a lot to Joe Fred as well.
And then we've got the mayor of the city of Opelousas, and more than the mayor, a good friend, Reggie Tatum. And Reggie's had quite an experience. We don't have a lot of time to go into a whole lot of everything, but he attended the Mardi Gras ball that was taking place in the snowbound Washington, D.C. And he's got pictures to prove it. And we have a picture too that he loaned to us, gave to us. And then, of course, we have Miss Vicky here, and she checked out a day. Well, between watching the Bobby Dupre show, first time you've ever watched it, not many people have ever been invited. they came, but we should have had that. And I realize that now. We could have had that over the years. In fact, trying to talk me into staying, he offered to do it in my outdoor kitchen. Am I right? And that's Matt LeBlanc I'm talking to. Wherever we wanted to have it, he would have been glad to. But I think 40 years, I'm going to take a break, and hopefully I can come back, possibly in the newspaper some kind of way, and the internet, tie those together. I'd like to do something like Entre Nous, which was a beautiful little article that was published in the Daily World in its heyday, and that was Mr. Frankie Ditline. That'll wake up a bunch of people in the Opelousas area. Right. Well, St. Landry Parish, let's put it that way. And then maybe tie that into some kind of internet showing at the same time. So, but y'all have to wait a little while. I want to take a few weeks off and see what I can do. Spoke to Freddie Herpin, came by to take some pictures today.
And what an amazing thing for Freddie to come by. I mean, Freddie has been the person who's documented the history of our parish, and he wanted to be here, feeling that it's one more piece of the history,
And then he's going to talk to Jordan, who is
involved with printing the paper.
He writes the articles and everything in Opelousas, and then it all ends up in Lafayette, where the headquarters of the Gannett, Daily Advertiser and Daily World is both owned by the same corporation, Gannett. And possibly they'll buy the idea. And no money. I don't want any pay or anything. I did all of this with no pay, and if I go forward, I still don't want to be paid.
You're trying to say I'm not getting paid today? Is that's where we're going with this? But I thought, I got the call from Matt, and Matt said, listen, we're going to double what you used to make. But I mean, I guess 0 times 2 is still 0, right?
Yeah. We've used that for a long time. We've got a few pictures. Well, no, let's get a few of our advertisers.
We can do it. I'm going to hit them
good sponsors.
Quick.
We want to thank them from the bottom, and we're not
for all 40 years, all 40. Even whoever's not still on the show because they've come and gone.
Well, the first 25, there were no sponsors. Dupre Carrier got y'all paid
sponsored
for
the whole thing.
Sponsored the whole thing.
I remember hearing the horses run, and they would do the whole thing. Yeah.
Kelly had a little prayer.
She would do the prayer.
Yep.
I was a little kid. I remember all that, too. I was a mere child. But we'll go ahead and we'll say Carl's Thriftway right there, South Opelousas on South Union Street. Got some prescriptions filled again this week. Remember, the big box stores, they charge you a lot of money. I got a prescription moved over there and saved a whole bunch of money. Go see Carl's. Great gifts. We love you, Mr. Carl. You've been a great supporter for years. Dixie Storage over in Port Barre. Great guys there.
Joey
Doucette has just been a supporter of us all along. Gets us to treat him to lunch once a year, but he wants to talk business and see what we can do to grow this parish, from the railroad spur to all the shipping and storage they have there. Thank you so much, Joey. Really appreciate it.
How y'all were able to help him on that project with the old Dixie glass where he needed kind of repair that street right there so those big trucks could, you took care of that.
And we've got LHC Group, that's all those, great people, the most powerful town in the whole parish, Palmetto. That's where LHC Group comes out of. The greatest people of the parish have come out of there. But we want to thank LHC, the Mars family, Harold Taylor, our new head of the parish council.
Parish chairman.
Right. So we've got some great people, Miss Erlene Bim, all the crew. Thank them so much. Brandy Fontenot, all the ones that help us every year, with Paula Mills, with even the Breakfast with Santa. They come, they help, they donate, they always there. And how about one more? Let's hit Piggly Wiggly. We'll thank Kevin Doucette, my cousin, who's done so much with locations, 2 in Opelousas, 1 in Simsport as well. They got the Cash Saver location as well. Just great people, do catering, they do food. Always willing to help.
Generous young man, we'll put it like that.
Undercover. A lot of times you don't realize how many times he's been a guy who's doing it. Thank you, Kevin, so much.
Can you get to the picture of Glenn Armentar? If you could get that picture up there, we would start with that. Last week, one of the closing comments that I was making was how generous of a person Glenn Armentar is, and then I also brought in Pat Morrow, and Pat Morrow has
scholarship
funds. And in the mail, one of the first things I opened the following day after taping this program the Glenn Armentor $10,000 Pay It Forward Scholarship of Excellence. A real, been doing this now for a number of years, and the story on him is, if you can ever watch that story on Glenn Armentor's life, he made it himself. And raised very poor and almost got into trouble, but mentors came along and helped him out, and now he's trying to make sure that others have the opportunity he was given. And
had gone down that wrong path, and somebody helped grab him and say, you know, Glenn, you're too smart to let this happen to you. You know, what a great guy. You know?
Yep.
And he realizes that he can help other kids avoid that problem as well.
And today I'm dressed up in a suit.
Oh no, I feel underdressed.
It's something that probably the first could have maybe gone somewhere and had a suit on, but don't recall of having a suit on the program. I've owned a few suits now. Don't get me wrong. It's not my first one, but I just felt like I'd tell the story. My first program 40 years ago was on KSLO radio. It was done at 344 South Liberty Street. That was where I lived. And it was done upstairs in a room that was not used that much. And so a Saturday morning around 9 o'clock in the morning, I can still remember the phone call I got from Johnny Wright, who ended up being a major owner of the station.
Correct.
And also always the general manager of the state, KSLO. And excuse me here, itching. I'm not telling a lie now. This is a true story. We pick at each other with that. But he called. He says, Bobby, he says, are you ready to do the program? I'm sending over my technician, and he's going to be delivering a transformer to use with the program.
Through the phone lines.
Through the phone lines. And I said, when are you going to do that? A month or so from now? No, he says, I'm talking about Monday morning at 6:30. That's what you said you wanted to do it at, right? I said, well, yeah, but I mean, you could have given me more time. He says, you're going to do just fine. We're going to be 15 minutes. And so I got Renee Fontenot, who handled the KSLO for me the whole time that I was doing the first 25 years. Renee died during the last 15 years.
Right.
And so I said, Renee, get a song ready in case I kind of fumble or something.
Play some music, it gives you a break.
Play a little music, and it'll give me a little break, and I'll catch up. And so Clifton Chenier had a real popular song at that time. Whatever it was popular. So I kind of did on purpose. I let him play a song, and that was the only song we ever played. Then pretty soon, 15 minutes wasn't long enough, so we went to 30 minutes, and we started doing it twice a week, 6:30 on Mondays and 6:30 on Fridays, and we did it on the telephone the whole time.
Right.
But the first time I was in my pajamas, the first program, and here I am 40 years later. In a suit. So try to stay up with things, and of course our little station had some very innovative, and we'll get to that. We need to take a 1 minute break here real quick.
We'll see you all in a minute.
Welcome back to the second quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show. We still do it in 4 quarters, and I've got my original sidekick with me today, Mr.
Good morning.
Andrew Guitros.
That's right. I only get paid on the quarters I get named. That's how I used to work. You remember?
Yeah,
that's how we used to tease.
That's how we do it. And sometimes you made all 4 quarters. 4 times 0.
4 times 0 was
still
a
0.
Big zero.
A big zero. Gets it bigger. I want to also, Megan couldn't be here today. Fortunately, Kelly's here watching the program and brought me a gift and all that good stuff. and smiling when I say things that kind of remember as growing up. You grew up with some of the radio portion. Yeah, the prayer, that's right. You said the prayer, closing prayer. And Megan, of course, is in college and couldn't be here today, but I do have a necktie on that she gave me some couple of years ago. I don't know, probably a Christmas gift or some birthday or something. So thinking of her too. The whole family's here. And we were...
Well, we're talking about how the show went from a 15-minute show to then a 30-minute show, and then for some reason, that 30 minutes started getting bigger.
Yeah,
got bigger and bigger.
then when we moved from the radio to the TV,
right,
we decided instead of making it in 2 different times, we condensed it eventually.
One big show.
We were going to do it for 30 minutes once a week, but
twice a week. Yeah.
That didn't work. We were running over, and back in those days, they could kind of maneuver around.
They do a little editing, not much editing, but they'd speed us up a little bit in spots. We talk a little higher.
Well, they could also, the rules were not as strict, and we had more control over the programming than you have today.
Right.
The companies that you buy these programs from,
the network says you only have so many minutes.
If you're supposed to be in at a certain time, they want their programming in on that time, and we can't control that. So we do the best we can. And we fudge a little bit now and then, but they work it out within the confines here. And of course, we had Mark, who worked a number of years with us, a perfectionist. Good morning, Mark. He might
somewhere
be
on the road.
He's somewhere on the road. He left this easy air-conditioned job to go and get back to doing what he liked, and that was driving big 18-wheelers cross-country. So good luck to you.
We miss you. We suffered with Mac all those years. Thank goodness it's finally over. We don't have to suffer with Matt anymore.
And then Steve, of course, was also with us, and he's in the next building, still works with Delta Media, still part of the company. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Matt took a day off and let Andrew come in today. And I guess I'm going to have tears at the end, but right now it's good kind of reminiscing about some of the highlights we've had. And tell me what you...
We've promoted politicians on the show. We've promoted ideas. When the parish wasn't exactly certain that this road home project was important, you and I kept saying, you know, there are reasons why you don't like everything, but we know this. If we build the roads, they're going to come.
People will come.
People are going to build houses. They're going to do things. You know, I just moved out to the Prairie de Farm area. And let me tell you, the growth in that area where they had the worst road in the parish, Jules Lagrange Road, now that the road is there, the growth is unbelievable. People are coming and they're moving. So things that you and I got in front of, and you know, we were never against another politician. When you and I would promote a politician, we were for somebody, not against somebody, and we would say, this person really wants to bring some new things, some new ideas.
Perfect example of doing it the right way is I was with Ladrika. Mm-hmm. And she got, you know, she didn't win the race.
Right.
And Mr. Boudreau,
Gerald Boudreau.
Gerald Boudreau, our new state senator representing our district,
correct,
told me the first time he saw me, he says, anything you need, and he knew I needed an okay right now to get my certification appointment back on state boxing and wrestling commission. Right. He knew what, because he had come to our 2 events that we gave, the Hall of Fame awards in Sunset. Right. He attended both of those, gave us a proclamation from the parish government in Lafayette. Well, I knew he was a upstanding guy and had a big position. When you're dealing with the children, people's children, you have to be well respected or else they're going to find something on you. But he's super clean. But anyhow, first thing he did, he says, look, don't worry about if you need my support, you have it. And so I'm saying right now, I need it, Gerald.
Right. And I tell people that.
And I told him that in person.
I get asked by a lot of different business people that say, I don't get involved in politics because I'm worried. I said, Bobby Dupre is the ultimate example that support your candidate, don't support the person you don't want to support. Just support your guy. And I'll say this about the sheriff, Sheriff Guidros. When he got elected, you know, there's always turnover whenever you come in as the new guy. But what I saw was he didn't let the supporters of his opponent get run out the door. The people who attacked him, he realized they weren't going to be good workers. But the ones who were just supporting his opponent, he had no problem with that. And those people have turned into some of the greatest workers he's got. Yeah. And that's what you want. That's what you want to do, you know?
So anyhow, that's been our philosophy on the program here. We've
and promoting the local area. We've promoted businesses over the years.
Over the years, we've tried to talk well about them, and when they see you even today, they still thank us for helping them, because when you're starting out, I know I started an insurance agency, and that's a tough baby to get started. And ran one little ad. In fact, Cody, when he was moving from Opelousas to Lafayette, was going through and clearing out some of the things, found a copy of that ad. I have it framed at the house, the Daily World ad, the Bobby Dupre Insurance Agency. And so I remembered what people did for me, and when I was getting started, everybody that helped was appreciated and thanked. And it's a good thing for businesses starting up. And even after you go on, make sure that your personnel, starting with answering the phone, answer that phone in a good professional way. Always be polite. Don't get into an argumentative situation with that person. Get that person to the person that he or she needs to talk to, and everything can be worked out real quietly and calmly. But if you get in a contest with them, you're going to lose.
And when the transaction is over, nobody likes to give the money across the table. I don't care if it's $1 or $1,000, they don't like to give that money. If you don't thank them and say, your business is important to us, we appreciate that business, it's so critical.
They got a father and a son got killed over the weekend at a gun shop.
I saw that.
Over a $25 disagreement. Now, who did the shooting first? They don't know yet. But the two survivors were the people that didn't want to pay that didn't feel the $25 was justified. That's all they put in the paper. But can you imagine, over a $25 disagreement, they allowed that to escalate into shooting? They both shot, but the father and the son that owned the shop, the business, they got killed.
Yeah, I saw.
So anyhow, getting off a little bit, but it's going back to working things out calmly. I remember when after person had some problems, I'd get to talk to them, and we'd walk out and we'd be talking about their daughter-in-law's new baby they had, and how's your mama? I heard your mama was kind of sick. And they said, well, that customer was not upset at all. No, I said, I just let them talk it out. Give that customer an opportunity to get it off the chest. And that'll open the avenue that if you be listening, maybe just one word.
It's in every part of life. It's not just about business. It's about who we are as individuals as well. Let me squeeze a couple of sponsors in right now while we got a little spot. Quarters Casino right there north of Opelousas. Thank you. Pat Willis and the whole crew at Quarters have been so good to us over the years. You can stop by there and get all the old-time candy and gas and diesel and all the things that you want right there, just outside of town as you're coming in from Ellick or you're heading up north. Real easy to get to right there at exit 23. And we've got, of course, Steamboat Warehouse chef owner Jason Hugay, so critical to our Breakfast with Santa event every single year. As a matter of fact, we even have a cake that I brought, my sister made over in Grand Prairie, the two of us for the Breakfast with Santa this year. Yeah, that's the picture.
That's true.
You know what flavor cake it is? Mm-hmm. It's a white wedding cake. I just want to make sure I believe it's perhaps you and I's favorite flavor. And those of you who watched the show for years know that inside joke.
Oh,
but it's white. But my sister said, what you want? You want pecan? No. White wedding cake is what it has to be. So that's what we've got. We've also got Targill Seasoning, another one of our good sponsors. The Bellard family, great people. You know, you can go there for your butcher supplies. If you're a cook like me, that you're not a gourmet, you're a gourmand, you're a pig, where you like to cook on the weekends and have a good time. They've got everything there. But if you're a full quality restaurant and everything, they got it.
You've been eating good.
I'm twice the man I was when I was last on the show. There's no doubt. I'm probably a good 15, 20 pounds heavy. It might be more. But I'll have to get on the scale. But yeah, Targill can help you out.
And we'll get the others in the next
We can do
segment.
the others in the next segment.
And
absolutely.
I want to brag on a person that is well known, at least in St. Landry Parish, and more particular in the Eunice area, and that's Johnny Anderson, who was heavily involved in the Kathleen Blanco governorship. The 4 years that she was the governor, he had a very strong position, and he now is with the John Bell Edwards, and he's lost about half of his body. He lost over 150 pounds.
I saw a picture of him the other day, and I didn't recognize him at first.
Well, no, you wouldn't recognize him. It was. I'm glad that Charles Cravens came and pointed him out to me. Yeah, I mean, he's a different man, but he's that same smile.
Right.
That was still there. And what can I do for you, Bobby? You know, he's a genuine assistant to a governor. He needs somebody to take care of all those people out there.
You can't all talk to the governor head to head, but
No.
but I always tell the story about when I had called for Leonard Kleinpeter one day. If you remember, it was something you and I were working on. I called for Leonard, and who was great in Kathleen Blanco's administration, and Leonard wasn't in. I left a voicemail, and the next morning at 6 in the morning or 5:30, I got a call on my cell phone, and a lady said, "Were you looking for me?" Well, the voice is familiar. I said, "Kathleen?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Oh, Governor." I said, I was just calling for Leonard. It's something Leonard could handle. Oh, she said, "Well, I just want to make sure. Leonard's out a couple of days. Can I help you?" And it just, her dedication, she got a bum rap. She didn't make the hurricane.
Yeah.
But she got a bum rap from it. But just to show, to me, that spoke for what kind of person she was, that she was going to go through her assistant's phone message to make sure somebody didn't wait too long for help. And beautiful lady.
Yeah. And she gave a lot of sideline advice to John Bell Edwards.
She can.
It was very evident, and
that's very successful.
Johnny Anderson, perfect example right there.
We're going to have to take a break. It's the halftime.
Yeah, it's halftime.
So we're going to see you folks on the other side of, I guess, about a minute.
Today I'm in a big hurry, like I always am. Boy, that time flies by real quick. Oh, voice. Oh, Lordy, my 30 minutes is already gone, but we haven't even got started yet. I keep going. I'm what, 45 minutes, almost 46 minutes into the program, but you need to get to work, right? Okay, we back. That's a cute little, I guess they used it, a little promo ad during the week. And that was actually done by Dylan Guillory, our newest employee here, and a young man that hails from Opelousas. In fact, he knows my daughter, Kelly. Y'all go back to Park Vista. Is that what I understood y'all talking about earlier? And so he did go to school in Opelousas then. He told me that. Now I have proof that he did. And of course, he's a graduate of UL, and we're proud to have him here as part. He fit right in from the get-go when he was an intern here, and was offered a position as soon as he graduated. He came on full time, and that's what can happen with good education today. And you gave him the chance, and don't let him work you out of your position, Matt.
Gotta go over your shoulder. That's what you want. You want some pressure.
Let's get a couple of our ads. Let's see photos, Dylan. This is a a job that I was called on last Wednesday. I was returning back to Opelousas. Father Swear with Immaculate Conception Catholic Church in Washington calls me and asks me if he was correct in stating that I had done a little work at this site right here, where this is at the back of the hall at the metal building that was temporarily the church when the church burned.
Right.
And so I said, yes, I remember doing a little job over there. So I went by and I took a picture and went over to the Citgo station and got something to eat there. And while I was eating, I was trying to find someone that could possibly come do this job. And somebody said, well, what about Blair Bridges' dirt service? I said, we talked recently, and he asked me the next job that I had for him. He'd appreciate showing me what he's learned. And we go back to, we met through Mike Touchette days, and Mike helped him get started and all of that. And so Blair came and did some work and took care of that particular, I don't know if we have a picture of that particular part, but while he was there, I said, well, we just as soon, I'm wanting to enlarge the parking lot across the street from the church. We'll need some limestone. So we went out there, and he said, this far? And I said, go a little bit further. We want to make sure that they can all park on 2 different ways. And we added some limestone in parts of it that needed to be kind of worked on. And you want to show a picture possibly of the church grounds, Dylan?
There you go.
Well, we put that little statue was given to him, was put up for me by the ladies' organization in Washington. You remember they always would call us, and we always helped out in promoting whatever they were promoting.
Like a little grotto.
And that's Mr. Sanseer did that for me.
St. Francis that's in there? I think so.
Yeah, I think so. And there's some limestone. That was one strip of it, and then we enlarged that. We did 2 more strips like that. And Harry is cutting the grass, because you don't want to put
almost little Harry now.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight.
He slimmed down.
But we had a good day. By that afternoon, we had finished up doing whatever, and Father Swear was very, very happy, I might add. And the cost was very reasonable. I was very pleased with your pricing, Blair, and Cheryl, the wife. Went in and had coffee.
He's a great big guy.
Big guy.
He did the limestone in my house. Same fella. Very, very hard-working fella.
Yep. Good Christian family.
Correct.
Good,
absolutely.
Oh, you notice that. Mm-hmm. And then this is Vicki and Jenna. Jenna kind of rules the roost in Bourdonville now. She's kind of taken over, but she's a sweetheart. What does she call me, Vicki? Papa Bobby. And she's cute as a bug. And that's the turkey that we had for our birthdays. Jace and I's birthdays on the same day, the 25th, which was Monday. So Saturday, Miss Marilyn hosted the meal, and Jace is cutting the turkey. And Clint, her other son, Vicki has 2 sons. Jay's cutting, and then Clint is on the right. And all the way in the back is Donna, Jace's wife, and then yours truly with my camo
and happy birthday to you on the air. I got to call you for your birthday, but also our friend over at American Bank.
Connie.
Over at American Bank.
I called her.
And I think Miss Lucy Sanamon this week, too. There are 3 different birthdays that hit back to back. And Wade Hadley, that's John Hadley's little boy, must be almost 9 years old now.
Yeah, he's got some age, yeah.
They're all born on that same day, and I remember those birthdays.
How they doing? I haven't
doing
seen
very well.
Suzette and
John's in the car business, too, doing very, very well.
Where?
Doing loan paper. I think it's at Sterling. I think he's right across the highway.
Oh, really? Well, I'll have to look him up and have lunch with him.
Doing really good.
Well, great. Good to hear that.
Yeah. We are still all around. Got some more photos here. What we have here?
That's the Palace Cafe in the morning. Our friends, Jimmy,
Prados,
Alan,
right.
and on the left is, oh, shoot.
We're both going to
I
draw the
talked with
blank.
him.
The grandkids with the
Yeah,
school, my kids. Latoul.
Chris Latoul.
Got it.
And Pajo on the
Pajo,
right,
oh, yeah.
Mike next to him, Mickey Guidry, and then Coach Armand Castillo.
That's a lot of football knowledge
And
at that table.
Charles Cummins.
You're right.
And
Randy Thomas.
Randy Thomas.
Very active at the Casilla Center.
Casilla Center, yep. He spent a lot of time.
Look, Jude.
Jude Armand. Look how small he looks in that picture right there. Man, he looks fit and trim. Go ahead. You might want to sell that picture, Jude.
Oh, yeah.
Carry that around with you. Make a copy of it.
That's a character.
And then Chad Pete, attorney for the parish government, attorney for the sheriff's office, attorney for the St. Landry solid waste, and then also works for the district attorney and has a private law practice on top of all of that. So
and raises cattle.
And is the attorney for the 3 Mile Lake Association.
That's correct.
Mustn't forget that.
That's correct.
And a lot of others, I'm sure. And then, of course, Doc, I call him Doc. His father, well, his father was a doctor, was the surgeon of the whole area at that time. He was loved by everybody. Right. And that's all occurring pretty much daily. And then this, Mac Lejeune and I went and checked on the Hilton, Mamu Hilton, and they had cleaned it up, and so we just wanted to make the beds and everything, so when we get there, Mardi Gras week, it'll all be all cleaned up. I saw this young man here getting off his bicycle, and look at the smile he had.
He must be from Los Alpais. He looks like he's a local, huh?
He started out in Seattle, Washington.
Really?
And went across the northern part of the United States, all the way to the East Coast, touched into Canada a little bit, came on down to Tampa and stayed there a few weeks because his mom lives there.
All right.
And then he cut across and he was in Mamou, Louisiana. Can you imagine? On a bicycle. And then he was going to sleep in Oberlin that night and is headed eventually to San Francisco where he lives now. But a beautiful young fella, Rory. I don't have the card, but Rory, good morning to you. He'll be watching because he actually is an author. He's a writer of articles, and he's doing some writing while he's on the trip. Right. And then he'll probably write some famous book someday. We hope you do, Rory.
And you'll be on some page in there. Just say, I met this guy in Mamou. You should have seen how unusual he was. And you thinking to yourself, this guy rode around the world, and he just thinks a guy from local.
Look at that bicycle. Look what he has loaded. He's packed up on that bicycle.
And he better be bright. He better have some reflectors.
And I said, well, you must have a big job sending you money. He says, I saved up my money, and when I run out of money, I hope I'm back in San Francisco.
Yeah, I bet.
And I said, where'd you sleep last night? What hotel? He says, I sleep in very few hotels. He says, I go to 2 places when I hit a town. He says, sometimes people will invite me to, well, I said, I have a place I could let you sleep tonight. No, he says, I need to get to Oberlin. But he said, I said, where you slept last night? He says, in Bunkie at the police station. Well, it was either the police or the fire.
Right.
Could have been the fire.
They let him stay there.
Yeah, they let him stay there, and there's always a shower.
Right.
So,
works out.
So anyhow, Rory, I enjoyed visiting with you, and this is taken. This was the mayor of Oppaloo. Look out, find it. Look right there. Reggie Tatum on the right. Donna, the President Governor, the First Lady, and then Governor John Bell Edwards. John Bell, you started off with a snowstorm at your first big away from the Capitol, away from Baton Rouge. But that's okay. You caught a ride back, and you flew back ahead of the rest of them and tending to business. And
they let him use General's helicopter, you think? Or?
I hate to even mention how tough he's facing.
Oh, there was a good editorial cartoon. There's this huge elephant that's dropping what elephants drop at the back end. and there's a little bitty titani man with a little dust broom and a little thing behind him, and it's John Bell. He got this big elephant that's going to be the deficit, and he's a little bitty guy trying to clean it up. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be pretty, but somebody's got to do it. And even Vera, Senator Vera said when he was going to become governor, when he thought he would become governor, he said, we got a big row with a big bunch of bills, and we got to raise taxes. We got to find ways to generate different income. So don't let people play partisan politics with you right now. No matter who's going to be in that job, it's a Republican legislature that had to pass the budgets that have caused some of the problems. It's going to be Republican legislature that's going to help pull us out. It was a Republican governor before, but we got Republicans in big seats now. We got Democrats in big seats now. They all got to come together and get us all out. It's everybody's problem that has to be resolved.
I've been around the governor just a few times. In fact, 2 times he attended our Democratic committee annual meeting at the Opelousas Civic Center. And well, you've been there, and he's been there the last 2 years.
Organized usually by Miss Leona Boxing.
Yes, that's correct. And I'm going to be one of the honorees this year.
There you go.
How about that?
March the 3rd?
March the 3rd. That's right. That's right. Anyhow, look my little shirt they gave
showing
me.
the Bobby Dupre shirt, man. Bobby Dupre
and
shirt.
Anyhow, look at Noah. Boy, Noah looks good right there. And Angel's restaurant. Boy, that was a famous restaurant back in his day.
And that's what Delta Media's main office is, in the old Angel's restaurant.
Yep. And anyhow, there's Joe Fred was here earlier. Of course, Kelly, my daughter, and Reggie. And we need to take a break.
We do. We'll see you,
but
folks.
To finish up on the governor, I find him to be cool, level-headed. What about you, Reggie? You were with him at this deal. That didn't shake him up. The snow didn't.
No, not at all. Not at
I
all.
wouldn't believe it would.
Same way, same cool, calm.
Yeah, good job.
Good guy.
We're going to see you folks on the other side of 1 minute for the last quarter of the last Bobby Dupre show.
Welcome back to the final quarter of the Bobby Dupre show.
There we go.
Oh, got balloons.
Hey, I tried.
He tied a brick to every balloon, I think is what he did.
Something hit me on the head. But that's the best part of the body to hit me on is the head. I'm hard-headed. That's what Mama always said. That's what Mama always said. But we're having fun today. We had to cover a few things that we felt we needed to, and we want to thank again all of our sponsors, both those that today sponsors. Balloons still falling. Okay, all right. Kind of like the snow. Takes a while for it all to fall down.
I've got 2 sponsors left if you want me to hit those 2 right now.
And want to thank our sponsors, both the present sponsors and those that participated, some of them just for 6 months maybe, but it all made it go. We've always had our quota of sponsors that we felt was enough, because we tried to do a good job for them. We went at least a minute plus on each on each ad. Yeah, sometimes 2 minutes.
And Dupre carried, of course, all those years that carried the heaviest load.
Yeah, that's correct.
As well, the new generation is reaping the benefits of what the old generation paid for.
25 years. We paid for it.
Most importantly, we want to thank you for doing the show for 40 years and almost 20 on TV. So.
Well, good. Thank you. That makes me feel good. No matter where I went, and Vicky, and of course, you were with me a lot of times. Kelly was with me a lot of times. No matter where we went, somebody knew Bobby Dupre. And they either recognized my face or they recognized the voice. And a lot of them, balloons still falling. But that was a Matt LeBlanc trick right here.
Yeah.
That was a good job. That was very thoughtful.
This just like KDCG always, shoestring budget.
But anyhow, it's been a fun run, and I'm enjoying today and the last program just as much, and I'm going to miss all of you. And I'm going to take off some time, and I may just come back. I've already started the ball rolling to see if possibly I could do a little writing of a little short article, possibly once a week, and something you can send over to them all prepared, and then they can, change it if the few words are not correct. Gannett might not like my vocabulary, but it'll all be clean, and it'll all be good news.
Right.
And I can assure you that won't change. And I want to say something, and I'm trying to tell everybody, I developed a little palsy, and that's not what made me, this is just something just noticed. Some of my friends, when I tell them that, they say, well, we had kind of noticed it, but we wouldn't tell you nothing. Well, Vicky told me, about what, 2 weeks ago, Vicky?
Maybe longer.
Not much. And then she put she loaded the gun on me at the governor's ball that night. She told Megan that I had this little tremor, so Megan says, you need to go see the doctor. Well, I went to see the doctor, and fortunately, Dr. Tate ran me through complete blood work, x-ray of the chest, and did something else that made me feel good. I had to go get an MRI on the brain. So the doctor believed I had a brain. So that's pretty important. That was a good sign.
Good sign.
And everything came back good. I might add, Monday on my birthday, they said, you going to see your doctor on the birthday? I said, well, good news, bad news, whatever it is, I'll easy to be to remember when it occurred. So I went and gave me some good encouragement.
They basically told you that age. It's just mileage.
Mileage. And so far it hadn't bothered me. But I mean, I noticed it. Well, I notice it now that I've been told. But it could get a little bit worse, he said, and it could get, what's the next, what's the bad? Parkinson's. He said it could be a form of Parkinson, but not the kind that is death,
right,
life-threatening.
Debilitating, I think
yeah.
the word. Like, so how old are you now? So the
79 years 79. Young. 79
so,
years young.
I figure 79 years on one hand. That's it's got some miles on it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Writing those checks.
I cashed a few of those over the years.
Well, for 40 years, we want to say congratulations and thank you. And we're going to step out and let y'all finish your show. But thank you so much.
Thank you all for being here with me. Yep.
I'm going to hit those last two sponsors. One is St. Landry Homestead. All your banking needs, the Homestead can help you. Kip Bertrand, the whole crew that's there. Let me tell you, great people. I want to congratulate Kip's father, Rabbit, for Lapin. Retiring, he retired from the print shop, and Kip's, I think, sister and cousin has taken over the print shop. So just want to tell the Homestead people, love y'all to death. Thank you for all you've done for us over the years.
I found out your cousin, Thomas Stanford, is building the new branch building
in Port Barre?
In Port Barre, yes.
Excellent. Congratulations, Tommy and Pam Stanford. Yeah. And we got one more.
Now, you know who told me that?
Who told you that?
I thought Leonard Bertrand had gotten the job, and Leonard said, no, I didn't get that job. Well, I said, we had bid on it. Timeline had bid, right. Kendall had bid on it, and I knew we hadn't gotten it. And I don't know why, I just thought that it was the other.
Tommy and Pam are both from Port Barre.
Port Barre,
good connections
I guess
there.
that they right there at home. That no travel to go to the job site.
And Kip wants to spread the business around. He wants to help the whole parish out.
Well, he had already helped him. He bought the property from.
There you go. That's it.
Keeping it in your family.
That's right. J.B. Sandals as well. J.B. Sandals has been around for over 135 years. I want to thank Neil, the whole crew there over the years, from my old aunt who worked there for many years, to all the different people that we've dealt with.
Miss Robinson.
Miss Robinson, exactly. Miss Aunt Lillian, and all the crew that we've dealt with over there over the years. Beth Briscoe's mother worked there for years. Great people. We talk about the history of Opelousas, Bobby Dupre being, a huge part of the history. J.B. Sandal's, even longer. Bobby was wearing short pants when they opened J.B. Sandal's 135 years ago. But no, thank you all. Thank all the sponsors.
Oh,
really.
yeah, and so many others. We not going to mention you, but we appreciate what you did for us. And I forgot Dupre Carrier Gacho had actually paid for the first 25 years on radio.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have any sponsors, and so that gave us a lot more time to talk, because it takes time, but these people wanted some money to come in, and I understand why.
And it brought a bigger family in for us, because most of these different people that you advertised for became customers, if they weren't already customers,
right.
and just became part of that whole family. Like when I go to Carl's, right away everybody says, how's Bobby feeling? Have you seen Bobby this week? Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's very connected. So.
And crew of Franks is going to be having their parade for Mardi Gras. We want to make sure. What about some pictures? We have any? We have a couple of obituaries.
Got 3 minutes. Got to get them quick.
This is Miss Anita Lonclos. Her husband James died within the last 2 years or less, and here I picked up the newspaper and saw where Miss Anita passed away and has been buried by now, but she took such good care of her husband. He had Alzheimer's, and she was there for every movement, watching him and making sure that he had those final days of good life.
Company for years.
For years. And then Mr. Darrell Como, who I met through the racehorse industry. He was always interested in breeding and the horse industry, and he was also a very successful jockey agent and a relative, I forgot just, but close kin to my good friend Don Stemmons, who I had invited to come this morning, but he had a big project going on. He couldn't come, but hello, Diane and Don. They watch on the Sunday afternoon program. So y'all going to be watching the very, very last showing of the Bobby Dupre show.
And Miss Charlotte, too. Don't forget Miss Charlotte.
And, well, yeah, she helps me every time I need to do something with the racehorse papers. And this is the beautiful book, religious book.
Daily Prayers.
Daily Prayers that was given to me by Kelly. And we're going to close the program this won't take, this got a minute possibly. What else? We have any other pictures we need to show?
I think we got it.
Nope, they're not going to show them anyhow, because then I'll get in another story. This is for January 28th, and I want to wish my first cousin, Gus Dupre, happy birthday, Gus. Gus is the younger of us. I was born on the 25th of January, and he was born on the 28th, the same year. But he calls me his old cousin. And Jackie Dupre Fontenot, who I spoke about, died 2-3 weeks ago. That's his sister. So just to kind of give you how I'm kin to him. Oh, Lord, you have searched me, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern by going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. Thank you very much for the 40 years, Jesus, that you gave to me and my associates and our sponsors and our friends we spoke about, and all the wonderful people that I met because of the program. Thank you so very much. And for all of those that I forgot to, please forgive me. And Jesus, please take care of my situation and all others who are suffering in some way or another.